Our next story comes from Japan. This country is known for many things: rich culture, technological innovation, even sushi. But if there's one thing it's not known for, it's gender equality. Japan is now trying to turn that around, and we'll tell you how. They're starting with political representation. Today, the Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, announced a cabinet rejig. There were a lot of changes, but the most important one was this: the new cabinet features 5 women. This is the first time 5 women will be part of the cabinet since 2014. In all, there are 19 ministers in the cabinet, so technically, women now represent more than a quarter of the Japanese cabinet. It's on par with Italy's female ratio. But Japan still lags far behind other G7 members. The government had initially committed to 30% women representation by 2020. Soon they gave up on that goal. And now they want to meet the target by 2030. They plan to offer babysitters and create a fund to support female candidates. So this rejig by Prime Minister Kishida is a step towards it. Now, Japan's history is steeped in tradition. Men are looked at as breadwinners. Women are seen as caregivers, like in most traditional societies. These roles are deeply ingrained in the Japanese society. Children are taught these norms from an early age. So women often find themselves on the fringe of political power. And it shows in global reports. Like a report on gender parity by the World Economic Forum, it ranks Japan 125th out of 146 countries. And that's really low for a developed nation. On gender parity in politics, Japan ranks 138th, even behind China, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. And that's saying something. So this cabinet representation is a good step. It is Japan acknowledging that it needs more inclusive leadership. Of course, it's a move that deserves applause. But beyond that, what does it really change? Around 10% of Japan's lawmakers are female, so not many women join politics in the first place, and this creates a disparity to begin with. You need a wider pool of women lawmakers to select from. And for that, you will need more women to join politics, so that should be a priority. Basically, it should be a bottom-up approach and not necessarily a top-down one. Secondly, it's all about changing mindsets. Many nations have adopted a quota system to ensure that women are adequately represented, but to the Japanese, this quota system is often unfair.
Many people in Japan think of a quota system as unfair and biased and giving extraordinary privilege to women. No, but it's the other way around. The existing system gives too much privilege to men, and particularly men from political dynasties.
Thirdly, it is essential to ensure that these are not just symbolic gestures. Prime Minister Kishida may have appointed more women ministers. But what's the larger policy? Is this a temporary move ahead of snap elections? And while giving them a seat on the table is important, it is also important to ensure that voices are heard. It is important to make sure that they can contribute to real change. Let me give you the example of Rwanda. This is one of the poorest nations in the world we're talking about, nowhere near Japan in GDP, but 61% of lawmakers in the Rwandan parliament are women, 61%. And this reflects in their policies too. The policies support equal rights for men and women. Women are given equal opportunity. Rwanda's gender pay gap is 86 cents to $1, one of the lowest in the world. So representation matters only when it is backed by policy. It matters when it is not just a token gesture. Japan's decision to appoint more women in the cabinet is commendable. It's a step towards gender equality. It sends a message that progress is possible in the face of deep-rooted tradition. But this is the first step of a marathon. It is not the finish line. The real work has just begun. Japan has taken a step forward. It needs to stride ahead to dismantle stereotypes and provide equal opportunity.